Hi, and welcome to the Strumming Fundamentals lesson. So what I'm going to talk about here is just the basics on strumming, a little bit on how to hold your pick, mostly on just being able to have some kind of a foundation to where you know how to make it feel good, and eventually you can teach yourself how to strum. So here we go. The basic idea is make sure you're holding your guitar in a proper position. So if you need to, check out the video on posture and form. That'll help you a lot. I'm using an acoustic guitar. You can use electric. Doesn't make any difference. Just make sure you're on a chair that's comfortable. So you don't basically you want to have your legs at kind of a parallel position to the floor. In other words, don't be on a couch where the couch is real soft and you sink in and you're just so relaxed, and all of a sudden you don't even want to practice. So you don't want to do that. You want to make sure that that you're not in some sort of a bucket seat kind of scenario with wherever you're sitting, and you want to make sure you're not on a stool to where your legs themselves, your feet can't feel the floor, or if they're sort of resting on like some sort of a peg or something like that, and the stool, it's too the angle's too steep, because you want to be able to support your guitar and not have it slide out, but you also want to be able to have the guitar to where it's not too high up this way. So it should be comfortable. You should have your back pretty straight too. So this is all to really line the shoulder up. So the idea is your shoulder's here and it comes over, and acoustics are especially favorable for this, but the idea is to be able to support most of your weight on the body of the guitar. So pretty much I'm using kind of the inner part of my forearm here, and that's resting at the apex of the curve of the guitar, so that's important. So as you're trying to strum, you sort of come over, and it's kind of like that. So more or less, this is quite relaxed, and so most of the weight is right here. It's almost like you're just sort of sitting, hanging out with your buddies, and this is what's comfortable to sort of just relax as. Now the reason for that is that strumming is a lot feel-based, and so the idea is you want to be able to support a lot of the weight of the arm back here, to where we can actually have a sort of a swing in the forearm itself, but it doesn't feel like we're going like this, or Seven Dwarfs marching kind of thing, like or cutting down a tree or something. You want to be able to eliminate as much tension as possible, and one of the good ways to do that is to just support the weight of the arm back here. So that's step one, is just make sure you have good form. The neck of the guitar should be more or less parallel to the floor. So the way that I like to start this is go ahead, and we're going to do this without any sort of chord, which might be contrary to some things you've seen, but I actually find that this is kind of a cool way to just get the physical elements of strumming. So what you want to do is take your hand and lightly just take all of your fingers, or 3 out of 4, whatever, and just lay them on the strings. Kind of grab it like a comfortable grip around the neck, a loose fist, and what you're trying to do is very lightly just mute the strings. So if you were to strum through, everything should be silent. So if you're getting something like that, you're squeezing too hard. Just relax. Just let the weight of your fingers hold the strings. And if you have 3 or so fingers, 4 fingers, you should you'll get a little bit squeaking through. Just do your best to figure out how to eliminate that just by relaxing. So the idea here is we're actually taking any sort of chord out of the picture, and that's because we're going to focus more on the feel of it. This is just about getting the feel for the right hand. So also, when you hold your pick, you should have a slight tilt to it. I have kind of a downward tilt. In other words, I'm playing with the left side of the pick. The left side of the pick, if I look down on it, the left side is actually tilted downwards. And the reason for that is you're creating an edge. You're going to be playing on one edge of the pick on the way down, and as you strum up, you're going to be strumming on the back side of the pick. So you don't want to play flat. That's going to create too much resistance, and it's just going to feel weird, and it's going to give you that real sort of ugly, painful sound as you're raking through the strings. So make sure to tilt your pick, and also if you're holding it right, and you're holding 2/3 of it with your thumb or so, and it's kind of balanced on the first finger, I balance it on the edge of the nail. So I'm not holding it this way, but I'm holding it more with where I can actually feel the nail against the pick. People do this differently. This is just how I do it and how I think the majority of people do it. But there are different ways. This is what I feel most comfortable with. But the idea is that you're balancing it on the finger. And so the thumb, because you're holding 2/3 of it or so, as you strum down, as long as you don't as long as you don't hold the pick too tightly as you strum down, all the impact from that strum is going to be absorbed into the hand, and the pick will find a balance that's pleasant as it strums through the strings. If you hold your pick too loose and you're holding just a little bit of it like this, then you have to squeeze very hard to hold the pick, and all of a sudden everything just sounds really, really ugly, and it's also very awkward. So make sure you hold at least, hold about 2/3 of the pick, and that way you can relax your grip a little bit, and so it cushions the blow as you start to strum. So that's very important too. So that aside, what you're going to try and do for now, we're not even going to get in contact with the strings, is I just want you to be able to sort of tap your foot and connect your hand to it. So hopefully I'm not shaking the camera by doing this, but the idea is that you're going 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And music, for the most part, is always in loops of 4, so that's very important to get used to as well. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the hand and the foot are connected. The idea is that the downs feel a little bit stronger than the ups. Is that we're air guitaring everything now. We're not even going over the strings, but the idea is that the downs should feel a little bit stronger than the ups, and that the ups, you want to sort of envision a slight, almost like a rising feeling, like a bounce to it, as if it's just on its way back down. Or I sort of equate it to like a bouncy ball, like when you're little and you throw a bouncy ball and it somehow goes way higher than you threw it down, it just shoots up. I almost like to think of the hand that way, where there's a certain rising feeling to it. And again, this is just a mindset, but it should help you sort of get the feel to this. So what's most important is that you're going down with your foot and coming up with your foot, that they're connected on a string. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So most of the movement is from the forearm. The wrist moves as well. It's more to fine tune, but the wrist is loose. Kind of like, when you're little, they tell you to shake it out, like you jump up, down, kind of shake it out or whatever. I know it's kind of a lame analogy, but that's the idea, is that the wrist is loose. Just like this. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So when you're comfortable with that, step 2 is going to be actually going over the strings. And this takes a little bit of time. What you want to do is stay on the same plane as the guitar. So you don't want to be kind of coming in this way and scooping out this way. It should just be nice and straight in line with the body of the guitar. And see if you can do this where you're just doing down strums. Just 1, 2, 3, 4. If for some reason you want to put the feeling somewhere else, like you kind of move a little bit or something, that's good, as long as it's more of an extension of your awareness of what you're doing versus a distraction. So it's okay to externalize the feeling. That's a good thing. So the next step then is, after we do just downs like this, we're going to see if we can throw the ups in there. Because every time we pass down, we also have to come up, right? So for this, then we'll go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Now, also just a personal note, at this speed, it is hard to feel it because it is a little bit slow. It doesn't really feel like much. It doesn't feel like a song or any sort of fun rhythm necessarily. The idea really is getting used to where the strings are and getting used to how it feels, getting used to how it is to hold the pick, and a lot of times the pick rotates a little bit. Things like getting used to all of these different elements going on. So if you're comfortable with this, feel free to speed it up a little bit too, to a tempo that's comfortable, to where it actually feels like something. Maybe just make sure your foot can move, that you know that the pulse it's always pulling down right there. Now let's go to step 3, which is actually strumming it with a chord. So I'm going to use an E major chord, which uses all 6 of our strings, all 3 of our fingers, minus the 4th. And so you should be familiar with E major from the chord section already. It should sound like this. And the reason I'm picking E is because it uses 6 strings, and that way we don't have to worry about some chord with 5 strings and avoiding strings, things like that. So as you strum now, as we apply this concept of down, up, down, up, down, up, you just want to be listening for balance as you do this. Everything should sound even. You want to listen to if you're digging in too far on the low section and maybe scooping outwards and not getting the upper section. That's just a partial E chord. You want to make sure you're getting the whole thing. The same with on the ups. You should be getting the whole chord. Kind of like that. So let's start with just down strums for now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2. Should sound like that. Now if we do the downs and the ups, it will sound like this. 3, 4. So that's how it should sound. It's very difficult to keep the tempo perfect at this speed. Don't worry about that for now. This is more about just getting the feel on how it is to go over all these strings, to find this plane of where the strings are being held and be able to pass over them. So feel free to speed it up if you want to, slow it down if you need to. All that is totally cool. So so that's the idea. Check out the strumming exercises and train with those, and you will do well. So take it easy.